start recording now. I'll chop off the beginning when I actually do the video. It's not
Sounds good.
I don't do a whole lot of editing. I'll just my competence is chopping off the beginning and the end.
That's all you need, man.
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say hello. I'll introduce you, and then I'll say what the spell we're gonna be doing, and then I'll read the description, and then I'll let you dive in and talk about it. And
cool. Yeah, love that.
I don't have much to say. I've never used Thorn Whip. I don't have all these fancy extra books.
It's in the player's handbook, thankfully.
Is it?
Yes. It's on page 282. It's a druid and artificer, I believe now. So that might be further around, but it's a druid cantrip.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm psyched. Let's do this.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I'm already recording. So
all right, cool.
Here we go.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Jorcer's Spellbook. With me today is Alekazamm. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
And we're going to be talking about the spell Thorn Whip. Fun stuff. Before we get into it, I will read the description. All right, this comes from the player's handbook. This is a Thorn Whip is a cantrip level druid spell. It's in the school of transmutation. The casting time is 1 action. The range is 30 feet. The components are verbal, somatic, and material. The material component is the stem of a plant with thorns, and the duration is instantaneous. The description is as follows. You create a long vine-like whip covered in thorns that lashes out at your command toward a creature in range. Make a melee spell attack against the target. If the attack hits, the creature takes 1d6 piercing damage. And if the creature is large or smaller, you pull the creature up to 10 feet closer to you. At higher levels, the spell's damage increases by 1d6 when you reach 5th level at 2d6, 11th level at 3d6, and 17th level at 4d6. Yeah,
not bad for free.
No, not at all. It's so all right. This is a short range melee attack spell. It does a little bit of damage, but I'm gonna guess that what you like better is the pulling action.
I do. Now,
yeah.
The thing about these spells, right? So many people they try to min-max, they try to do all these things where they're like, oh, how can I do the biggest numbers? And this doesn't do big numbers, but what it does do is that pull, like you said. So I actually have a bit of a story about this. I made a druid a while back. It was a turtle druid. This is before it was published in a book. I had like a PDF. It was like the, I guess, Unearthed Arcana version of it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make a turtle druid. Let's go. He was Circle of Spores. And I made it so I had the staff that had the little mushroom at the top as my spell focus. So I didn't even need the one material component you need, which was awesome. And my DM, cool as he was, I did like a play test. And he set it up like, okay, we're just going to do fights because we want to see how our characters play out. You have a druid. What do you want to do in this scenario? You're going to be in like a tavern. And you know, there's not really going to be many plants around. So just keep that in mind. I was like, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. And I read this over and I realized there was that pull. And he described this room we walked into, and it was like just a big open space, bunch of people having like tavern fights. And like this tavern just kept going up and up and up. It was like this endless tower of just fighting and fun. And at one point, we have these guys, they're all lined up underneath like a balcony. And they put some tables down, and there's some guys on top of the balcony with like crossbows. And I to test the waters, I was like, all right, I'm going to aim at the guy way up high, pull him down. And that pull did some damage. But then I was like, wait, I could be more creative than that. So I asked him, I said, okay, hey, it's going to pull him off the balcony, right? But is there a way maybe where they could get stuck up there? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, what I want to do is I'm a turtle. So my plan was I'm going to hook the guy, swing into the other guys, using him as like my levy, basically. And then
anchor, yeah.
Literally turn into a wrecking ball and just go into my shell. He let me do it. God bless him. And
Cool.
so I had this moment where I went, okay, here's my action. I do the thing, latched on, he pulls closer, he got stuck. I had to make like a roll of some kind. And I just wrecking balled through these guys. I hit some of my own party as like a cost, but it did a little bit of damage, knocked him prone, and that gave us some advantage in combat. And I thought that was so cool. And that's my favorite part about D&D, and that's why I wanted to talk about this spell, because there is so much you can do with this stupid little whip spell.
Well, that sounds like a very situational use of that spell. What about it more typically?
So one thing about this too, as my same DM kind of pointed out, he asked me when the whip would dissipate, like if it goes away, and technically it doesn't. I mean, unless I misunderstand, I'm assuming instantaneous means once you cast it, it's instantaneously cast, but there's nothing about it disappearing. So in theory, you just have this thorny whip hanging around.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I can't imagine it would continue to hold on to the person after that first initial. But
no.
Yeah, it's like it's a cantrip. Whether you have the whip or it comes back every round you want to use it.
Yeah,
but what like in a standard combat, you're out in the field fighting some ogres or something, and you're not going to be swinging like they're chandeliers. But what are you going to be doing with this spell?
So another time, same character. I had this. I forget the subclass, but he was a fighter, and he was my ally, and he had this ability. He was all about maneuverability in combat, and effectively, it's not that he had like an unlimited amount of attacks of opportunity or anything, but I think he had like an extended range or something. I can't remember the exact thing, but basically, me pulling them out was also a good way to combo. So I would go, okay, fine. I Thorn Whip the guy right next to you, pull him out of your range. You get an extra attack that round just because I happened to do that. He wasn't going to leave, but I made him leave. And the DM, he was kind of iffy on it, but he allowed it for the fun factor. Again, a lot of this is going to be based on your DM. Sure. If you have a good DM and a good group of players, and they're willing to work with you together, really the way the game should be played, like you're going to have a lot of fun. And this is just a really basic, cheap ability that you can use to kind of give yourself an edge. Again, too, like I also had one where it was as simple as we were having ship combat, and when they came close enough, I was just pulling guys off the ship. Like you just got to use your surroundings to your advantage, and that's this spell has a lot of use for that.
30-foot range doesn't sound like much to me, because I was when I read the description initially, I thought, well, I mean, you want to bring people closer to you, which probably means they're trying to run away, maybe. And like with only a 30-foot range, like one basic movement could get that person that wants to run away out of range from your Thorn Whip. But you brought up something I thought was interesting, something I hadn't considered, is just using it to drag people past other players so they can bonk them with attacks of opportunity.
Oh yeah, I mean that's easily was my favorite thing. He and I we use that combo so many times. It was pretty ridiculous. I mean, there was that, and God, I forget, there was like a mage as well that was in our party. I can't remember if he was a sorcerer or a wizard or not, but he also would he had another maneuver that allowed them to come closer, get pushed away. Maybe I want to say it was hydraulic torrent. I might be mixing my games at this point, though. I've played a lot of different games. Sure. But just anything with maneuverability like that can be so much fun. And this one's just I think I want to talk about this one just because it's this little baby spell that a druid has, and a lot of people probably use it just because I have it, whatever. But I feel like they focus so much more on the damage, and they do that little 10-foot pull, and that 10-foot pull can make all the difference in so many different encounters.
It's if you're going into it with a strategy, then sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
cantrips are a lot of my favorite spells.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I don't want to step on other people's toes. I was watching like the Eldritch Blast one, for example. I was like, yeah, that's a great spell. I want to hear what they have to say about that. And I was like, yeah, that's about right. Oh, it's super neat. Like there's I know there's not much more to say about Thorn Whip at this point, because it really does only have those two actions.
Yeah, it does two things, but
it does it well.
Sure,
all that matters.
I hadn't considered swinging from people either. So
good. I also I had a friend who literally was like, "Hey, your Thorn was still out," and I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, we captured this guy. Let's tie him up with it." So it was like it was just stuck to my staff, and I stuck it in the ground, and we tied him to my staff, and that was kind of a neat moment to like interrogate him for dumb information or whatever. Little things you can do, and every time they tried to get away, they took damage, which was funny. He almost killed himself on the rope.
Good times.
Oh yeah, man. Those were the days.
All right. Well, I guess that's Thorn Whip.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to plug?
Absolutely. Everyone watching, if you happen to like my voice, want to see me play some video games, I'm on Twitch. I don't do it as often as I used to, but you're more than welcome to come. From the Saturday after this releases, I'm going to make sure that I'm on there. So when this comes out that Saturday, or the Saturday of that week, I should say, come check me out there. The link will be in the description below.
Yes, it will. As well, the links to my books, the Caverns and Creatures series.
They're really good.
Totally should.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. And I will see you in the future.
I hope
Bye-bye.
so.